Boom! My name is Dano. I represent Freemusicempire, a site built on the backs of an incredible generation of mixtapes. Don't ever forget. Um, so one of and this is kind of an emergency interview thing
Uh-huh.
because the person I'm talking to today, Darko The Super, incredible artist, incredible producer, and runs You Don't Deserve This Beautiful Art, uh, the label. And you posted a long professional
Spiel.
thing about the state of it, and it left some lingering questions, right? So,
Okay.
uh, I wanted to kind of set up a place where you could give a full explanation to the people who love your stuff, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't have any inside knowledge of what's going on. I just want to know, like other people want to know how you're doing and what's going on.
I
Uh,
gotcha.
so, first question is: are you
Okay.
good as a
Oh yeah, I'm great. I'm doing great.
person?
Yeah.
We're not under this shit. You're good. Are you okay? You're cool. Is this any?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I got a sweet Mandy shirt on.
Bang!
Got for Christmas.
Beautiful.
Lizzie, the
Beautiful.
tiger.
Yep.
Watch another Nick Cage horror film called Prisoners of the Ghostland. Kind of
Yep.
kind of missed it for me. It's like they spent the whole budget on imagery, It's like
Yeah.
visually stunning.
I
No plot, no plot.
I have a new pet peeve where I can't handle CG that comes out of people's hands.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't. It was like, real effects. It was real effects.
Okay, okay,
It was
okay.
beautiful, beautifully done.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get the storyline.
I hear you.
But yeah, watching a lot of Nick Cage, he's the man. And doing good. Watching a lot of Doom Patrol, playing a lot of Halo.
Ooh,
I
Doom
love
Patrol is
Halo.
great. I
Oh,
love
it's good, right? I'm on
I
season
love
3 now. I don't know how many seasons there are.
the I think what do you think the craziest Nick Cage is? Do you think it's I think it's Vampire
Mandy, I love Mandy.
I think it's
Mandy's my
Vampire's
favorite.
Kiss. Vampire's Kiss from the 80s is wild.
Yeah, I love this one, Color Out of Space, too. That was another recent one. I don't know if you heard of it, but it was
No,
it
I
was
haven't seen it.
incredible. Oh
Gotta
yeah,
catch up.
sort of just super bugged out, very trippy, psychedelic, and alien, stuff going on, and
Awesome.
sort of it was very colorful, like the title suggests.
So you posted. I get one of the first things that struck me about the post was reading your post and was trying to figure out, is the label, is it done or is it in hibernation?
It's hibernating for the winter. Might
Oh,
be, yeah, yeah. Seriously, I was sort of bummed out, sort of fed up with it, and just wanted to for a while now. I've been for a while, and but it's crazy doing the going out of business sale. It went so well that I might be going back into business. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It was incredible. I never could imagine this outcome from just saying what I felt. I think it resonated with people and other label heads who have felt like that for a very long time, and just you know you never pull the plug because it's you work so hard for it, and
Right.
but my whole thing was I wanted to take a break from that to focus on my own work, and I was done spending so much money on other sort of artists projects, and a lot of them not a no that's not true at all, but some of them were very sort of unappreciative of it all, and it sort of got to me, and it sort of wore me down a bit. And like when I mentioned in the post was I guess I could say it now. There terrible dealings with Digger's Factory. I guess this is like a warning to any artists looking to work with them. They reached out to me, and I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't discuss it as far as that, but I'll just say they're horrible. I wish them nothing but eternal damnation.
You can give an overview if you want. If you want
Overview.
to
We sold 500 copies of that vinyl. I haven't seen a cent. Actually, I lost money. I had to do their job shipping to Europe. They're in France. I shipped them, in order something that was going with the order. They forgot it at customs. It got sent back to me months later. It was months later. Should have been out by now. And and because of that, I wasn't gonna ship it again and have that happen again. I shipped it all myself to Europe. And yeah, they never reimbursed me for that, and definitely don't plan on it. Yeah, I was just left such a sour taste in my mouth as far as the music industry goes. That was definitely and that's just the half of it. Like they lied throughout the whole process, like, and then they messed up shipping on their end. And yeah, like it was supposed to come out in March, it didn't ship till July, things like that. And there's the only thing we did was we had to change the artwork for something, and and I feel like they sort of blamed it all on us because of that. But yeah, they were just awful, and that was a really rough time for me. And that was the only distress I had, was working with these people and having to fix everything and getting messages from people who ordered, and having to set things sort of straight and reassure people that it's all yeah, it was just going back and forth. It was taking a real toll on me in my life, and like I said, at that same time, I got a new gig. I got a new job that I'm working there still, and I really loved it. And it made me see how bummed I was in the music business, and now I'm still going for my bachelor's in music business. I started that in July of 2020, so I'm still going for that. But now it's like, that sort of, for a while, that's hampered with that too. It's like, once I felt the need to get out of it, then it's making the schoolwork so much harder, because I don't know what I'll do with this degree. Yeah, so it's been a lot of heavy decisions to try and make.
I could tell you the school thing. I sympathize. Like when I went to the Army and then went back to school and lazily did it. So by the time I kind of had to do it, or my Army money would run out. So I went back to school. At the time I was going to school, I had a philosophy podcast.
Oh, okay.
Do pages and pages of research per episode. I had Freemusicempire, and I had a new kid, and it was a full-time job. So it was crazy. And people were like, "How are you doing this?" And I'm like, "I don't know,
barely. That's how we do it. Barely.
That was it.
Just get by. Yeah, but I mean, and I still do to an extent. I love school and everything I've been learning, and but it's just, the experience has been great, and I'm learning things about myself, but I don't know how I'm going to apply all this yet, and that's the thing. But yeah, I mean, I've done cool assignments. I've done, whole projects on Jay Dilla and, Twin Peaks and Gears of War, my favorite video game, and like stuff like that I've been able to write about. And, just Daniel Johnston, Frank Zappa, doing deep dives into like Stone Throw Records. I sort of did a bunch of research and, finding out some cool things. I feel like I don't retain stuff, I'm like, like I mentioned, I don't take advice well, because I don't remember it. I'm such in my own head that I forget, what things could have helped me,
We're hearing you describe the frustrations, right?
Sure.
So it seems like when we're talking about frustrations, we're talking about all those interactions you have that are like technical interactions, getting this out the door, getting this in the door. There's frustrations on that level. There's frustrations on maybe dealing with artists who don't know how difficult your job is, right? And you're doing it.
Well, let me interject.
Go for it.
Not just how difficult my job is, but they want to tell me how to do my job. That's what pisses me off. It's like, all right, I guess you don't need me. Leave me the hell alone then.
Right. No,
maybe I'm a bitter person, which I definitely.
No. It's hard to deal all by yourself.
Sure, yeah.
With like bad intention people, like more than one bad intentioned person at a time. It can be hard. So one of the things that I was wondering was, like, is there any is there any partnership that you can strike here? Is there any, like, you have a great relationship with I Alive and Cold Rhymes? Is there any ability to strike a partnership to bring other people in and share the burden?
It's funny. I was talking to Rick at this label Audio Recon, and he's been thinking about the same thing for a while. He's one of the people who, sort of reached out and, back and forth, and like how he's been dealing with similar issues and stuff. And, it's funny that we all, all of us in one way either know each other or know exactly what we're going through.
Yep.
But yeah, of course, me and Hakeech just did a new album, and that's coming out on Cold Rhymes and probably Audio Recon too. But yeah, I don't see any sort of when it comes to that, the collaboration sort of goes by release. It's not like, it's not like we join forces as a singular label. It's more so each project could work together in some stance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
Because I'm not attached to names, right? I've seen lots of labels come and go, what I don't want to lose, because you have talents in multiple spaces, right? You have a very beautiful and graceful flow. You're a very talented rapper. Your production is excellent. You have my favorite beat on Vegas Vic. But the third space that you have talent with is your ear. You have a great ear.
Thanks.
In terms of hearing what's good in people that other people aren't checking for.
Sure. Yeah, I sort of was reflecting on that with this new, see the going out of business sale went so well. I put up a new release, which I had ordered and was, had a plan, but reflecting on this Dean Freeman album I just released, it's a compilation of all the samples I used on Great White Buffalo, but just listening to it is like, man, I could curate a box set for Dean and all my other favorite artists. I really would love to do that. I've done, early on I used to do, I've reached out to like I did with Migraine McNasty from Orlando. I reached out to him and put together a greatest hits, and we put it out on tape. Same with Big Baby Gandhi. Like I reached out to him about doing debut on something, and when it came to it, I put a greatest hits together. I really love doing that, sort of curating like my personal favorite tracks from artists and making it into a collection.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it was Billy Woods, one of my favorite Billy Woods quotes from his podcasting and going on podcasts was that when he was building Backwoods, that in order to put out an album with him there, you had to be talented but nice as well. Like, good to work with and talented. You can't, one or the other is not going to cut it. So that balance is important to strike.
Definitely. Yeah, and it comes to there's people who just based on interactions with working with them, I'll never sort of work with them again on a release.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's tough to it's a balancing act, trying to but the thing is with the sale I did, I'm like so encouraged. We moved the most merch I've ever moved in ever, so like just crazy the amount of support that came in. I didn't think anything would happen. I didn't think people gave a good goddamn. And then you reached out and just sort of solidified that maybe I'm doing something that is important in some way, because honestly I didn't, like, who cares? That's what I thought of. I didn't think, but now I'm realizing some people do.
Yeah, no, but there's an important part of the conversation there, because when you're talking about people care and people care about what you do, people care about these different ends of what you do. People want you to be able to make the most beautiful Darko the Super album ever, right?
Mhm.
And maybe you can't do that if you're, spending all day packing cassette tapes or whatever, right?
Sure, yeah.
Um, so we it's a balance and it's tough, right?
Mhm.
Because we love the interesting releases that come out on You Don't Deserve That Beautiful Art, but we don't want to sacrifice any of your peaks as an artist.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, speaking of shipping, I have a great friend who handles all my shipping now. He's been doing that for me, and that's been incredible. That's
Oh,
been
that's awesome.
a huge relief, since that worked out. And yeah, because I'm just like inept when it comes to tape. I'm just like fumbling around, looking like a moron, complete moron when it comes to tape. But
Oh,
yeah, so but yeah, I want to, sort of, label running a label is a lot about where you're going to invest certain money, and I came to a point that I just want to invest it in myself now,
right.
and yeah, it's basically that, and unfortunately I know that's like, I got into running a record label to um sort of work with my heroes and people. I realized if you have a label that gives you which is something I learned sort of about networking in school. We did this whole thing on networking, and one of the
Right.
things was like in business interactions, you want to have something to offer them, so instead of going to like my favorite MCs and saying like, hey, I got some beats, maybe you could check them out, it started being like, hey, I got this label, maybe we could do reissue, on tape or vinyl, things like that. And then that would lead into, friendships and actually working together. And that became much more important to me.
Right.
And, I still want to do that, but I'm done taking chances, it comes to, it's got to be real calculated now. That's something I learned from a lot, a lot of gems were given to me from Zilla Rock and Curly Castro. They told me to consider all this merch that wasn't moving, dead stock, basically. And anything you sell it for now, that's a profit, So that's why I did these huge discounts.
Right.
And, they moved. We sold nearly 100 different items, throughout these past few days, which, has never happened to me. Um, so yeah, I'm finally getting this stuff out there and it feels great. And yeah, and they also said, um, uh, this is a big reason too, um, that I sort of had to decide between, do I want to go all out as Darko the Super? Do I want to be the label head, or do I want to do a little of both? But um, they sort of helped me make a decision as far as I want to be my own thing now,
Right.
not
No,
that I
yeah.
wasn't before, but it's a lot of my time was spent, working on that. And I still want to do it. There's a few people I have in mind to reach out to, and if maybe a few months down the line, we could come back, do a big comeback, big
Right.
so I want it to be a big deal. I have some thoughts in mind about it, and people who have reached out in the past, I want to assure, because people have been reaching out, that every pre-order or anything like that, everything's shipping, it's all good. I got the test presses in for the Homeboy Sandman album today. It sounds great, proved that. So, we're doing good. We're doing all right. But yeah, so I got some I just needed some time. And there's a lot on my chest that I wanted to get out there, sort of relieve me of this burden I had. And I didn't, I never thought, saying what you felt, would resonate with so many people. Like I mentioned in the thing early on, doing shows, and I was told like you can never never make it seem like you're doing bad or whatever, or things
Right. Right.
aren't going well, because then people aren't going to want to join the party or whatever.
Right.
so I sort of flipped that and let everyone know. And, I don't know, maybe sympathy sells, maybe people like big, good deals, big dealios,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it
No,
worked out.
remember like when we said you got to project this image. I
Yeah.
was I was thinking about Trump because that was his move, right? Like his move was like, somebody would be like, the world's burning, and he'd be like, it's a good burning. That's for
It's a good fire.
yeah, that was
The
his
embers,
deal.
look at the embers of that fire.
Yeah, like that whole project your success thing.
Yeah.
It looks silly if you're not if if it's if it's
Yeah.
not
That whole,
successful, you look just kind of silly. Like
yeah.
it's better to be honest with where you are,
Uh,
and recalculate, right? I mean, if you can't tell the truth, what are you doing? You know?
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
people harped on that whole like 80s tough love bullshit. And I
Mm.
never got with that,
Ooh.
Um, yeah, I
Amen.
just,
Amen. So I was gonna say, um, the way I was thinking about it in my head is maybe you had been operating on 35% Darko the Super, the artist, and 65% frustrated executive.
executive. Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
and you're trying to pivot and become like, no, I want this 70-30 artist, right? I want
Mm,
this 70% Darko the artist and maybe
yeah,
30% helping people out.
yeah, for sure. That's where I'm at. You're you're absolutely right. Yeah. Um, I just that that's another thing, Zilla and them said, you always got to pay yourself first. Always, so that's what I want to do. I want to focus on taking a little me time, So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of the best albums on You Don't Deserve This Beautiful Art are your albums.
Well, because I could always release my albums. I have them, I got a faucet, full of albums coming out. I got 5 in the works now, and I got a vending machine just like oh yeah, I used that Billy Woods line. You were talking about Billy Woods. I said, today I wrote nothing. That
Right.
vending machine malfunction, just like because I'm always writing and always working on things, and I just out of a feverish need to be creative,
Right.
that's just how I feel. I can't go without it, if I'll go in a shock, so yeah, I gotta do it. And that's what, so I always, who else is gonna release this for me? I'll do it myself, and that's how I always felt. And that was another reason building the label. It was like I wanted a place for my, me and my friends to release albums together, and it all be in one place. And you can find this and sort of, what's that called? Cross promotion.
Cross
There.
promote. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No,
So,
and that's worked out. Like, look at Andrew, right? Who came out. He had an album on Cold Rhymes. He had an album with you, and
mm,
now he's $3 Pistol, right? And then
yeah,
that's cool. It's
yeah,
cool to have that cross pollination. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like there's been a lot of that,
Mhm.
like I'd work with Steel Tip Dove. Now I see like my buddy Torito out there recording with them, like things like that. It's
Right.
just, it's just cool to see, um yeah, I feel like I've really tried to create a scene and feel really tried to create a scene in Philly. I remember
Yeah.
reaching out I put like a group chat on Facebook of all us, rappers in that, oddball category. And, I really wanted to make an album together. And my thinking was, I wanted to make like we'd be the Mystery Men and all this. And I had some concepts and I could do all the beats, whatever. And my idea was, I found like we get this PR place. I'm always thinking like, and records, everything's so expensive. But if you do an album with like 10 people, that's easier. You could split it. And yeah, it just never happened. And I always try to push things like that. And now I live in New Jersey. I just
Yeah.
got my
No.
New Jersey license. So
Boom.
today, you know, it's official. I left the DMV. I started liking Bruce Springsteen. You know, I couldn't believe
You
it.
gotta, yeah, put the jeans on. Jeans on. The
Sure.
I just want you to do an album with Fatboy Sharif.
Yeah, we got a lot in the work. He comes over, we record, you know, we got a bunch. I'm thinking we could put these tracks together for an album, you know. But yeah,
Oh,
Sharif's a great guy, you know. He's such a good friend, you know, and such a fun
yep,
drunk, you know, at the
yep.
shows. Oh my God, he's hilarious. And I remembered I was really bummed out after we played the show, and I went to the car and I you know, I was talking with Laura on the phone about how things went, and then I see him walking walking towards the car, and I mean I parked a bit away from the venue, but he probably texted me, you know, asking what's up, and then I see him walking to the car. He's like, man, I can't have my, you know, whatever, my friend depressed, you know, and he's like, you know, from that moment on, I've been, oh, you're, you know, great
Great.
friend. So,
He's a great, yeah, he's incredible
and
person.
that I'm glad you brought him up. I've been meaning I want to get together, record more with him. So
I mean,
yeah.
whenever you work with, you've got how many songs are out right now? There was the Great White Buffalo had one.
Mhm. And
The
my album with
Teenage
Big Baby Gandhi had.
Teenage Angst had one, right? With
Who?
Big Baby Gone. Yep.
Yeah, Teenage Angst hasn't paid off yet. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, we have I want to say 4 or 5 more, and you know, done. But yeah, you know, we hang out, we watch horror movies, and you know, I'll play some beats, we'll go through them, and yeah, you know, he just writes on the spot, I write on the spot, and you know, it's very spontaneous, and you know, and then he does his million ad libs, you know, he stands like super far away from the mic and screams, you know.
That's fabulous.
He's
No,
yeah,
that's,
he's great to work with, and you know, just a great guy in general, you know.
yeah, I
Um,
wanted to bring him up because you and him have an undeniable chemistry, like where it is on record, where it is definitely like, you know, you guys think you like weird music, but this is we're doing this
yeah,
on
yeah.
another level. Like,
Yeah, driving around listening to, you know, my CDs in my car, and you know, we bring up like some, you know, I shouldn't name names, but he's like, "Do you like Bishop Nehru?" I'm like, "Nah, not really." He's like, I can't stand that guy." So, you know, I'm glad I'm not the only one. You know, same with
no,
like I brought up like he brought up Run the Jewels. I'm like, I don't know. I prefer his earlier stuff, you know. And he's like, yeah, you know, we connect
yeah,
on
he's incredible
very
to talk to
similar tastes.
with stuff. Yeah, no, he's and it's just some people are. And I've been weird my whole life, right?
Uh,
I was, you know, at one point the weirdest person in my school, and that was just pretty clear.
uh,
Um, there are some people that are acting weird
yeah, that's
to be
completely
weird,
different.
and there's some people who are weird from their soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and
You
that
don't
was
gotta
yeah,
dye your hair purple or anything, you know. You can
yeah,
just like it, you know. I feel very much as an outsider musician. You know what I mean? I
yep,
like that term, like what they called, you know, Daniel Johnston and R. Stevie Moore and people like that. I like the term outsider musician, so you know, I'm running with that
outside that
one.
makes sense.
You know, my first like experience working with, you know, a record label was with Already Dead Tapes, and it's, you know, experimental label, it's a bunch of punk and free jazz, you know, and I got down with that. I was like, oh, maybe the second, you know, rapper ever on there, and out of their, you know, hundreds of releases, and yeah, you know, and they gave me a great experience touring, and you know, that's how I formed a duo with iLive and, you know, my buddy, and yeah, so yeah, I always felt, you know, if hip hop didn't welcome me, you know, that was all right, because I, you know, love it so much. But there's also so many subgenres of it. You know, I learned this touring. You know, you go to these, like I played a show in Athens, Georgia, and you play with, you know, and it's like, you know, it seemed like a damn talent show, and it was all like, you know, some people would go, and it was so awful that no one even clapped. It was a full house, no one clapped.
Yep,
I never
yep.
seen something like that. I
Man.
play all these terrible places, and it's like, and then we went on, right? You know, everyone's rapping over the vocals and doing the coke and whatever, gun, whatever,
Right.
bullshit. So and then we went on doing our, out there shit, and I used to do this song about Pornhub, I think, and I know I pointed to this older gentleman in the audience. I was like, "You like porn?" And he looked at me in disgust, complete disgust. Oh man, it was like, ugh. And then the guy was like, and then the guy was trying to get us off stage because he was only letting people do, I was like, "Fuck you, man. We drove all the way here. I'm doing one more. I'm doing one more. And one more after that. Then you could." And then I went down the street and played a bar with punk heads instead. After that show, I played another impromptu show, and it went way better. Well, not way better. There was, people weren't ready. People weren't ready for us there either.
No,
I'm very much Marty McFly at these places sometimes. The kids are gonna like it.
So I would say it would be an interesting thing if you go back to focusing on your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the additional time to kind of fully chase down your creativity, right? Go as crazy as you want, producing new stuff. But it might make sense to kind of keep a list, an actual list of things that you won't do if you reopen, right?
That's a good idea.
If this thing goes back full bore, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that way you'll be able to kind of at least game plan against some of the issues.
Yeah, that's a smart idea. I should do that about just the not what is it? Not the to-dos, the not to-dos.
Right? No,
Something
it's
like
the not to-dos are important.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll lead you to the to-dos.
Sometimes
the not to-dos will lead you there. I would say, it's hard. If you look at all the really massively successful labels, they were teams of people, right? Like,
of course,
teams of people. And so this person can handle that person can handle that. And that's why you'd hear outro songs that were just shouting out people for 5 minutes.
yeah, of course. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's at one point I had Steel Tip Dove and Harvey Cliff with me, and it's still God bless them, they're great, but it still always felt like a one-man thing at points. And
right.
Well, it's been that was like a couple of years. I've been doing this since 2015, so but it's always been but now, thankfully I have someone doing shipping. That was the biggest, like, I would procrastinate with that, and that was just the worst of it. So now I have that, and I would like to get more artists on board, as far as like graphic designers and artists like that. That's what I really need. But a lot of my friends aren't doing commissions right now, or things like that. It's same with me. It's a lot of, like, even the blogs I used to work with, or writers, they're not answering the emails, and or they close down, that
right
anymore. And it's a lot of, which is a shame, because I'm just seeing throughout the years a lot of and that was part of the thing, was like my pride and ego. I wanted to outlast all these people, so closing up the label indefinitely was something I didn't want to do. I didn't want people to see me as like some schmuck who gave up, because I've quit a lot of things. I quit high school basketball, Pennsbury Regional Basketball League, but I quit a lot of things. I quit skateboarding, never made it with that. And I just.
But this isn't that. This is.
No, I know it's not.
You
I dwell
like
in the past.
The average life of an independent rap label is, the blink of an eye.
Of course.
And the reason the blogs are gone that you started working with is the blog grind is wild too. So,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, it's hard to succeed at this stuff, and you've done a great job. You're not old. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm 28 now.
What I mean, but that's you've had a successful hip
Oh,
hop label for 7 years,
uh,
and you're 28. That's pretty incredible.
uh, thank you.
I mean, you put out Serengeti albums, you put out Big Baby Gandhi albums, you put out like
Yeah.
albums by
Thank God
Serengeti.
for Serengeti. That's
Yeah.
like the reason MF Grimm worked with me, seeing that I
Right.
released Serengeti. He's like, okay, maybe this guy's serious. So he told me that. That's that's the reason he got back to my email, and
Right.
that was an amazing experience, Uh, I was thinking of this earlier, talking about just how oblivious people in the music biz are. Something amazing happened to me. I announced, like, I'm engaged, I'm getting married and all that. That same day, someone on Facebook who I don't even know messaged me saying, congratulations on the engagement period. I got this record in and it was the edge was a little bent. Any chance you have more of these and you could mail me one? So, like,
Oh,
and I wasn't even the one who was shipping that record, or even, I didn't have any. I have my personal copy,
right.
and there was tons of stuff like that going around. It's like, hey, congrats. I need this from you, basically.
Your customer service and
or
your
it's like it's Christmas Day. This guy's getting back to an email from 3 months ago, asking if I need whatever still. And just, I don't know. It was getting real discouraging for a while.
Yeah, so
But like you said, being a pessimist, I'm also, like Bill Hicks said, I'm in the people who hate people party.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So, but I don't hate people. I just hate certain people, I guess. People who I don't know.
I think it makes sense. I think it's really frustrating. People who make things complicated are frustrating, right?
Well,
People
it's the
make things
oblivious
unnaturally
people, just complete
complicated.
morons. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
completely oblivious to anyone else's, human emotions. It's like, it's crazy to me. I'm too considerate. I'm considerate to a point that, like when I'm driving, I'm always thinking of, people behind me. Am I going, too slow? Things like that. Am I gonna whatever? And I'll hold a door for someone. They're, in the parking lot still. I'm, but so for someone to just like ignore our fellow man, in any way, it's like that gets me down more than it should. Like I'm like I always want to say hi to people, but they like never look at me. And then when you finally see, so it feels great. It feels great saying hi to a fellow human being out in society.
No, it's nice. Yeah, I mean, I would say, you got to make sure that if you reopen this in the future, that you're aiming for like a bulletproof roster of people, right? Like everybody you want to work with around you. You've got to purge any of that stuff, because that's the stuff that gets you bummed out. If you have people that are too close to you, who are not a good time, you're not having a good time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's but I would say enjoy the space. Start a list, man. Start building it from scratch. Start philosophizing what you'd want it to be. And then make it. And this is, but so if you're a fan of You Don't Deserve This Beautiful Art, this isn't tragic because your Darko's going to get to Darko out, and that's fun, right? So look forward to that.
I'll plug some new releases. I got Now With Yuri Beats
Oh, cool.
that I'm trying to push, get that going. I got one with Hike Each, obviously. It's called You Gotta Have Friends, inspired by Buzzy Linhart.
Awesome.
Definitely one of my favorites that I've ever done. And I got this new instrumental album. It's called How Do You Like Them Apples? It's like an hour long, 27 tracks, all my best beats of recent, months. And I also got I'm working on a big album called The Meeting Place. This will be like when I ever finish this, I'm gonna go hog wild. But it's it's all about the sort of points of references that bring us all together. Sort of like, especially in the hip hop community, and especially underground hip hop, it's like, oh, you like Del the Funky Homo Sapien? Oh, me too. Like I met, you probably know that producer, Sad Hugh Gold. I remember meeting him years
Oh
ago
yeah,
in
yeah,
Philly,
yeah.
and I had a MF Doom sweatshirt on. He's like, hey, nice sweatshirt, man. Where'd you get that? I don't know. And then he saw me on Facebook with Blue or whatever, and we became friends, and that got me into the underground scene in Philly and a lot of community there. And just so those points of like, oh, even in school, like another MF Doom thing, I had zero friends, and then this guy saw me in graphic design class making a Doom thing. He's like, oh, you listen to Doom, and we connected from there and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so it's all, the Meeting Place is like, it's also from an XTC song from Skylarking, which has become my favorite album of all time. It's up there with 10cc's Sheet Music as my favorites. And so I'm making this, and there's like, so everything sort of is in reference to something. Like I did a ode to Biz Markie, and I sampled or I've remade his beat all alone, or Alone Again. I remade that because I knew the samples, so I've remade that, and I did a song like talking to Biz Markie, sort of. It's called I Need a Haircut Too.
Oh, that's amazing.
And, not TOO. Like I also need a haircut. And I really want to get in a hairdresser place or wherever with someone with a chainsaw behind me. To recreate the cover. I'm really hoping to pull that off.
Oh, that'd be
I
nice.
have a family friend who's a hairdresser, so I might be able to do that. I did this one. I turned Cheryl Lee has this great poem she wrote, Laura Palmer, the character she played, and so I took that poem and I made it into a song called Dear Darko. Her thing's Dear Laura is sort of all about portraying that character, and what she went through for it. But so I did Dear Darko. I did this isn't, sort of. I did the Billionaire Space Race. I covered Whitey on the Moon by Gil Scott-Heron. I covered that and made it, instead of Whitey on the Moon, it's billionaires, a race into space, so I did that, and that kicks it off, but I'm hoping to pull it together as a radio show, like an hour radio show, and I'm getting Tone Tank to narrate it for me, who he's a, I don't know if you know Tone Tank for his music, but he's amazing. He did a lot with Serengeti and Kool AD. That's how I knew of him, but he's also an actor, and his big deal was he was in that Judas and the Black Messiah. Do you remember that? Yeah, so he was in that, and I always thought that was, I guess he friends with the director, I'm pretty sure, but he's an amazing guy. Real character, as far as I don't know, I just love him as a person. But I'm getting him to narrate it, Stephen Wright style from Reservoir Dogs,
Oh shit.
But yeah, I wrote up a script and sent it to him, and I'm trying to do that. Might open the album with not the David Matthews Band, but this guy David Matthew. He did a song. He did an album called Dune, and Doom sampled it for Rap Snitch Knishes.
Oh wow.
And he actually and Ghostface sampled it on, what's that album? Apollo Kids. Sampled that on, I think it's Ghostology, or something like that. But he sampled him doing the Star Wars theme song. So I think I'm gonna open it with his version of the Star Wars theme song and have the like, you know, as the intro to the radio show. But I got a lot going on with that, and I'm really, really happy with how that's coming along. So that's really
awesome.
what I have. That's what I have in the works.
Woo, that's good stuff. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And yeah, we should talk more.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
hoping to pull off a split 7-inch with my favorite punk band, Spitz. I did a version. Well, I did another song inspired by one of their songs, called "Bring Me Down." But well, it's called "Bring," but whatever. I did a song on The Devil Defeated called "Susie," which was inspired by Susie's face by the Spitz. And now I got this new one called Summer of '78, and you know, I built off their story from their song again, and you know, I'm trying to do a split with them, and I did the artwork. You know, I did this crazy collage, you know, inspired by them, and yeah, I'm just hoping that works out because that'd be big for me, you know, as a huge fan. And yeah, that's on the Meeting Place album too. So it's all sort of callbacks to. Oh, I covered Frank Zappa's "Bobby Brown Goes Down." Covered that.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm just going all out with this. But each song sort of has a correlation in terms of something people would know, something that would connect us all, you know, as fans of, you know, entertainment in general.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks.
No, that's good to hear, and I'm glad to hear that the motor's still running, right?
Oh yeah, it's always on. Yeah, you know, maybe on E sometimes, but it's always running.
Good.
You know,
it's being frustrated is absolutely human, right? That is it's a good human thing to do, and it's better to be frustrated and vent your frustrations than it is to break down, right?
Keep it inside until it forms an ulcer.
Well, keep it inside until you just crumble, right? Like,
sure.
You know, I remember looking around my work being like, where's the new guy? And they're like, he just didn't come in.
Yeah. I remember this new job I started. I remember second day in this guy, or yeah, probably the second day, this guy, you know, I was there when he quit, and I was just like, oh man, this job's great. What are you thinking? You know, but yeah, he couldn't handle it. But yeah,
that happens. So yeah, it's good to let people know.
I've quit terrible jobs, but you know, it was just baffling when I thought it was such a cool job. But yeah, no, but I never quit on the second day, you know.
No,
I last a couple weeks. I give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, as an obsessive person, I have a problem quitting anything.
Really?
That's I'm the opposite.
So you finish bad movies.
I'm finished.
Finish anything you start. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But I would say yes. We stay tuned. So the page is still going to be up. You don't deserve this.
Oh yeah, it'll always be there. Yeah,
it's still going to be where you release from, right? Your pivot point,
or my personal Bandcamp. Yeah, depending. Yeah. And also the other labels I'll be working with. I want to, you know, work with them. So like Cold Rhymes and Audio Recon, and maybe Already Dead again. So
follow it all. Keep tabs.
Yes. If you made it this far, thank you. You know, I could talk about myself for hours, just so you know.
Hey, I hear you. Yes, stay tuned, and honestly, stay tuned. Free Music Empire.
You better.
Too.